The gym door opened with a metallic creak that cut through the thick afternoon air. It was Seattle, autumn of 1965, and the Harding gym was at peak hour. The sound of gloves pounding heavy bags created a constant, almost hypnotic rhythm. The smell of old leather, fresh sweat, and liniment filled the lungs with every breath. This was not a place for tourists or the curious. It was a sanctuary for men who understood that controlled violence was an art, and that mastering that art required blood, time, and a will most people would never know. Bruce Lee entered without fanfare, dressed in loose black pants and a simple gray t-shirt already showing damp stains around the collar. He carried a duffel bag over his shoulder, so light it seemed empty. His presence was curious, almost contradictory. He moved with a fluidity that made walking look like a form of dance, each step placed with unconscious precision that spoke of years of training. But physically, in a gym full of professional boxers, he looked out of place. Maybe 135 pounds on a humid day, thin arms, narrow chest, lacking the muscle mass that dominated every corner of that space. The boxers training barely noticed him at first. They were too absorbed in their own worlds of pain and progress, but gradually eyes began to drift toward him. Not with hostility, but with the cautious curiosity professional athletes reserve for anything unusual in their territory. A man near the practice ring nudged his partner and pointed his chin toward Bruce. Another stopped hitting the speed bag and openly stared. At the back of the gym, near a raised ring where afternoon light entered at sharp angles through dirty windows, a man was finishing his workout. His name was Victor the Hammer Castellano, and in the West Coast heavyweight boxing world, that name meant something. He was not a world champion yet, but everyone knew it was only a matter of time. 6 feet 3 inches tall, 240 pounds of functional muscle built specifically to destroy other human beings in a confined space. He had knocked out 18 of his 20 opponents, most before the 5th round. His record was not perfect, but his reputation was. When Victor hit, people went down. It was that simple. Victor was working with his trainer, an older man named Eddie Malone, who had been in the game since before Victor was born. Eddie held the pads, calling combinations, and Victor executed them with brutal precision that made the entire ring tremble. Jab, jab, right hook, left uppercut. Each punch sounded like a rifle shot. The whole ring shook with impact. Other boxers had learned not to train too close when Victor was working, not because he was dangerous to them, but because the sheer power of his punches was distracting, a constant reminder of how far they were from that level. Eddie lowered the pads and Victor stopped, breathing hard but controlled. He removed his training gloves and let them drop onto the ring canvas with a dull thud. That was when he noticed Bruce. His eyes narrowed slightly, not with malice but with genuine confusion. He looked at Eddie, then back at Bruce, then around the gym, as if searching for an explanation. He leaned over the ring ropes, massive forearms resting on the top rope. "Hey, buddy," he called, his voice carrying a tone of barely contained amusement. "I think you're in the wrong place. The dance studio is 2 blocks down." Laughter rippled through the gym. It wasn't cruel, just the kind of teasing men use when something seems so out of place they can't help it. Bruce stopped. He slowly turned to look at Victor, his expression revealing absolutely nothing. No shame, no anger, no discomfort, just calm evaluation as if studying an interesting math problem. "I came to train," Bruce said quietly, his English carrying that distinct Hong Kong accent that made every word sound deliberate and considered. "Train?" Victor laughed, not unkindly, just incredulous. "Brother, this is a boxing gym. Real boxing. Heavyweight. Men who beat each other until one can't get up. What do you weigh? 130, 140? One punch from anyone here, and you'd be in the hospital." "Maybe," Bruce replied. And there was something in his calm that made Victor's smile falter slightly. Or maybe not. Eddie Malone, who had been watching with the tired expression of a man who had seen 1,000 versions of this same scene, stepped closer to the ropes. "Look, son," he said gently, almost paternal. "I don't know what you were told, but this isn't the place to learn self-defense. There are karate schools, judo schools, that kind of thing. This is different. This is professional. These guys make their living hitting people." "I know," Bruce said. "That's why I came." Victor straightened, crossing his massive arms over his chest. The humor was turning into something else. Not irritation but curiosity mixed with challenge. You know what? Fine. Want to see what real boxing looks like? I'll show you. Get in the ring. I'll give you a free lesson. Eddie put a hand on Victor's shoulder. Victor, come on, there's no point. I won't hurt him, Eddie. I'll just show him the difference between playing at fighting and real fighting. Educational. Victor looked at Bruce. What do you say, Bruce Lee? Or whatever your name is. Want to learn something today? Bruce set his bag down by the wall and walked toward the ring with that same unsettling fluidity. He climbed the steps and slipped through the ropes with a movement that seemed to defy physics. So smooth it looked like the ropes simply moved aside to let him pass. Once inside, he stood at the center of the ring. The size difference was almost comical. Victor completely overshadowed him, his shadow falling over Bruce like an eclipse. Training had stopped entirely. Everyone gathered around the ring, sensing something was about to happen, though no one knew what. Eddie, gloves, Victor said, extending his hands. Victor, this is a bad idea, Eddie muttered, but he was already grabbing the gloves. 16-ounce gloves, Eddie. The big ones. I won't hurt the kid. Victor put them on while Eddie tied them, then looked at Bruce. You need gloves. Bruce shook his head slowly. No, suit yourself. You'll feel it tomorrow. Victor moved to the center of the ring, adopting a proper boxing stance. Hands up, elbows in, chin tucked. Even playing around, his form was perfect. Decades of training had turned his body into a machine built for one purpose. Bruce took no recognizable stance, just stood there, feet shoulder-width apart, arms relaxed at his sides, weight distributed so evenly it looked like he could move in any direction instantly. His eyes never left Victor, but he wasn't staring or challenging, just observing, reading, processing. Come on, at least put your hands up, Victor said. Give me something to work with. Bruce didn't move. Victor sighed, then threw a slow telegraph jab, the kind you'd use to teach a child. No weight behind it, just testing. Bruce's head moved maybe 2 inches, and the glove passed through empty space where his face had been a fraction of a second earlier. The movement was so minimal it looked like Victor had simply missed. Okay, Victor admitted. You've got some reflexes. Let's see what happens when I speed up. He threw a combination jab cross hook, still controlled, still at about 70%, but now with real intent. Punches that would have knocked out most men if they landed. Bruce moved like water, flowing around each punch with movements so economical it barely looked like he was moving. He didn't block or duck dramatically. He simply wasn't where the punches were going. It was unsettling to watch. Victor's expression changed. The humor vanished. Now he was focused. His professional boxer's mind kicked in as he pressed forward, using reach and size, trying to herd Bruce into the ropes. He threw faster combinations, varied the rhythm, mixed body and head shots, using everything Eddie had taught him to trap slippery opponents. And it worked. Step by step, Bruce ran out of space. His back edged closer to the ropes. The crowd leaned in. This was what they had been waiting for. Once Victor had him on the ropes, it was over. No escape. Size and power would win, as they always did. Victor saw the opening. Bruce was 2 steps from the ropes, escape cut off. Victor threw a combination meant to push him those final steps back, planning to finish with a left hook. Not hard enough to cause real damage, but enough to teach the lesson. Bruce retreated, his back touched the ropes, and for a moment he looked trapped, vulnerable, exactly where Victor wanted him. Victor smiled, planted his lead foot, rotated his hips, and threw the left hook at about 80% power. What happened next was so fast most people missed it entirely. One moment Victor was throwing his dominant hook, fully in control. The next he was flat on his back, staring at the ceiling lights with no idea how he got there. The gym went silent, the kind of silence that follows something so unexpected the brain needs time to process it. Eddie Malone stood frozen, clipboard slipping from his hands and hitting the floor with a sound that echoed like a gunshot. Several boxers rubbed their eyes. One whispered, "What the hell just happened?" Victor lay there blinking, chest rising and falling. He wasn't unconscious, just stunned, trying to reconstruct the last 2 seconds of his life and finding nothing but blank space. Slowly he pushed himself up on his elbows. Bruce stood exactly where he had been, against the ropes, hands at his sides, breathing completely normal. It looked like he hadn't moved at all, and yet he clearly had. Victor Castellano, professional heavyweight, lay on the canvas. What was that? Victor finally rasped. You hit me. No, you didn't, Bruce said calmly. I mean, yes, obviously you tried, but I didn't see anything. I didn't feel anything until I was already falling. Victor sat up, pulling off his gloves with trembling hands. Where did you hit me? Bruce pointed. Solar plexus. 3 inches of penetration, angled upward at 45 degrees. It interrupted your diaphragm, disrupted your central nervous system, and your body lost structural integrity. It wasn't force that dropped you. It was precision. Eddie climbed into the ring, kneeling beside Victor. You okay? Can you breathe? I'm fine, Victor said, though his hand pressed his chest. But I've never felt anything like that. I've been hit by heavyweights. This was different. It felt like I was hit from the inside. Someone in the crowd spoke up. Nobody saw it. How is that possible? Bruce turned to him. Because you weren't looking at the right thing. You were watching my hands, expecting a punch you recognize. Real speed doesn't come from big muscles. It comes from eliminating wasted motion, taking the shortest path, using the whole body as one unit. Victor stood unsteady, looking at Bruce with a completely new expression. No mockery, no condescension, just respect and awe. You're that kung fu guy everyone talks about. I teach Jeet Kune Do, Bruce said. The way of the intercepting fist. Whatever it is, Victor said breathlessly. It works. He turned to Eddie. Did you see it? Eddie shook his head. I saw you throw the hook, then you were on the floor. The middle part, I don't know. Too fast. Exactly, Bruce said. Too fast for conscious processing. Victor rubbed his jaw. But you didn't just dodge, you hit me while dodging. How do you train that? By removing what's unnecessary, Bruce said. Traditional boxing has patterns. Patterns create predictability. I train to read intention before it becomes action, and respond with what the moment requires. The crowd had multiplied. Boxers stood on chairs listening. A middleweight named Tommy spoke up. He's got 100 pounds on you. In a real fight, size has to matter. It does, Bruce agreed. If he grabs me, I'm at a disadvantage. That's why I make sure it never gets there. Victor stepped forward, no intimidation now, just curiosity. Teach me. You can't learn this in an afternoon, Bruce said. Then teach me longer than an afternoon, Victor replied. Bruce studied him. Why? Victor answered honestly. Because you just showed me everything I thought I knew about fighting is incomplete. Bruce nodded. That's the right answer. Victor extended his hand. Tomorrow. Bruce smiled. Tomorrow. But be ready. I'll train your mind as much as your body. As Bruce left, the gym stayed silent, not in shock but in reflection. Something had changed forever.